like pumpkin, but what are these? She doesn't want to be in the video, so I have left her at home. I don't know what these are, guys. What are these? This is her maize, and as you can see, it has dried up. It has dried up faster than most of the other people in the countryside in western part of Kenya. Looks like she planted earlier. Look at the way these sweet potatoes have been planted. Just look at them, the whole line all the way to the end there. Then we have some sugarcane here, and look at the bananas. Just look at the bananas, they're doing so well. Then we have beans. Look at these beans. You know, I love people in the countryside. Just see, there is no room for breathing. It's just intercropping, but you move them from one place to another. So even in the sugarcane, because this is a young sugarcane, she has already put the beans inside, and she will definitely harvest. So this is how much? 5 shillings or 10? Eh? 10 shillings. Some are flowering, but they are not bitter, but they are really healthy. They actually use cow dung and chicken manure. Here you can see the amaranth. Then this is a different type of a kale, the very soft one. When you have them like this one here, initially you will have to cut like that, this way. She's not just growing them, she will transplant them from here to another part of the farm. It is so young, but has grown so big. Just look at that. Actually, pumpkin requires a lot of space, but it's a popular vegetable. We eat it as a leaf, but we eat this with our staple food, which is ugali. These ones have grown, but because they've been planted mixed, it is actually a hassle when harvesting them. I think the farmer needs to just specify one raised garden for one sort of a vegetable. And then there is a hole that has been made. Can you see that? In this shade. So the cow dung is actually swept out. Business is going to flourish. This is the kale farm. She has planted quite a number of them. This is one mango, another mango as you continue. So it looks like there's a whole line of mangoes here. And then at the end, next to the fence here, there's cypress. We have the blue gum. Then we have another line at the edge of the grevillea. Wow. And this is a very nice passion fruit. It is a very sweet one. The mango tree, look at that. This is an old mango tree. It's so big. And the shade under here, where the cows normally eat from. Then there is dung that they have put separate here, which they will use for planting also. So this is how much? 5 shillings or 10? Eh? 10 shillings. So this is African nightshade. Some are flowering, but they are not bitter. Depending on someone's preference, you could either put them in the cooking or not, but they are really healthy. That is the beauty of African farming in the countryside. Organic farming. Just look at this one. Look at these leaves. Just look at this. They actually use cow dung and chicken manure. So when they are mature like this, they take them to the market. And as I have shown you, this one, because they can be eaten combined, That one is 10 shillings. But sold in the homesteads, in different homesteads. But when it goes to the market, it's different. The same price, the same bundle could change in price. So staying in the countryside is really nice because you get foods that are rich in nutrients, in minerals, healthy for the body. They are fresh and you can save a lot of money because just from the way they have tied them, this could be like 200 shillings. Yeah. So from one harvest, mixing these two different types of vegetables could actually cost around 500 shillings. So with that saving, you could easily use it for something else. So growing what you eat is a good thing. And I encourage everyone to learn how to eat what they grow because you're sure of where you have grown them, and then it's also safe because some places like around the cities, we have heard that some of these vegetables are grown in environments that are not very friendly, some that have sewage in them, and also when they are cleaned or they are washed in dirty water. So it is safe just to plant what you have. If you have a garden, however small, just try and plant your own vegetables. It also encourages children to eat indigenous or traditional vegetables instead of just eating cabbage and kales, which are most common. They are nutritious, but not as nutritious as these indigenous vegetables, which have more minerals and more vitamins. Good afternoon, good people. I have visited another farmer. It is in the afternoon. It's actually a late afternoon, and I'm going to show you their garden. They don't want to be on camera, but I will show you what they have planted. Being in the countryside, as I have always said, is a good thing. Now look at this farmer. They have actually raised beds, though they are not so raised, but you can clearly see the demarcations. And they have grown very many vegetables. So here you can see the amaranth. Then this is a different type of a kale, the very soft one. Then we have African nightshade, which is in different types. This one is not bitter. This one is the bitter one. Then we have this we call saga in Kenya. I don't know what you call it in other parts of the country, but I'm going to write it and see as many of the tribes that I can write. So here is actually mixed gardening. A lot of vegetables in these beds. Just look at that. And they have started already harvesting them. Because when you have them like this one here, initially you will have to cut like that, this way. But when they have grown, you will be removing the leaves now because they will have other more branches. So these vegetables are really nice, and we mix them in any other vegetable because it easily neutralizes them, especially the indigenous ones, which are bitter sometimes. Then we have spinach. Actually, in most homes in the countryside here in Western, spinach is not very popular. But this farmer has actually grown spinach. And she's not just growing them, she will transplant them from here to another part of the farm, which I will show you. So you can see most of these are just seedlings. She planted quite many. Maybe next time she needs to be clear about the lines so that they don't spread out so much, because it's going to be easier when removing the weeds. So the other bed here, the other raised garden here, has the other African nightshade. This is actually another variety which we call agriculture. It's not bitter. You can actually just boil it very little, and then just fry it. In fact, in the countryside here, we don't normally fry them. Just boil them and then mix with other vegetables. So it is really, we have this amaranth. Look at that. This is how we remove them. These ones are big enough to be harvested. I'm really encouraged that in the countryside, people have become more and more business minded, not just to plant for eating alone, but they're also able to sell and buy what they do not have. This is a pumpkin, and it is so young but has grown so big. Just look at that. The beauty of this is that she will eventually remove these seedlings that are here when they have grown and then transplant them to another region. Then she will be left with this pumpkin, which requires more space. Actually, pumpkin requires a lot of space, but it's a popular vegetable. We eat it as a leaf. You eat the young leaves. You mix it in other foods. For example, for a baby, when you put them into Irish potatoes. But we eat this with our staple food, which is ugali. Then, if you look, this garden is looking really nice. Look at this. These ones have grown, but because they've been planted mixed, it is actually a hassle when harvesting them. I think the farmer needs to just specify one raised garden for one sort of a vegetable and not all of them, because digging them is also, when they're planted randomly like this, it's difficult, because these ones, I'm sure she's not transplanting them because they have already grown. But for the others, she has done well. She has also put them in rows, which is easier to transplant them. So there's something very interesting here. This is an animal shed. This is a cow shed, actually. And there are cows that are being raised here. Then there's a hole that has been made. Can you see that? In this shed. So the cow dung is actually swept out. A hole has been dug here. It is actually covered. I'm the one who has just separated it. And you can see there's dung there. So what happens is when they want to plant, this, they pour in water, so it is diluted. Then the watery dung is actually spread into the garden before it is dug into raised gardens. So you can imagine how organic that garden is even before they plant. So the crops easily grow very well. I hope you're learning something. Other than just making the cow dung dry as we normally dry it, taking a longer time, you can also make it into liquid form and just pour it in the garden, then dig it up before you plant your vegetables. They come out very smart. Just have a full view of them. So this is our garden. Look at that. It has really done well. And has given her very many vegetables. This, when she plants, her business is going to flourish. It definitely will flourish. So this is our same farmer. She has planted a lot of kales and cowpeas. You can see clearly they're in two separate demarcations, where we have the kales separately and then we have the young cowpeas separately. Though the cowpeas have been planted, a lot of them, but they can still uproot some of them, leaving room for them to spread out. Then this is the kale farm. She has planted quite a number of them. Just look at that. Life in the countryside. She has planted so many kales. But because she's planting these, she's doing this for business, then this is quite good. And in between the kales, I can see a mango. This is a mango tree. Still young, but that's good enough. So there's more weeding that needs to be done. but these ones were transplanted and they are doing well. Inside we have this avocado tree. Then we have more cowpeas here. Look at that, though they need to be weeded. And so these are cowpeas up to the end where we have the border there. You can see clear rows of cowpeas. Here they are, and up to that corner. Then we have these trees. This farmer has done really well in terms of growing trees. Look at them. What do you call this? Look, no, this is not a bottle brush, but that's from the pine family. This one is pine. Same to their pine. There are several pines, but it looks like she has grown pines in one row, as you can see from there. One there, another there, continuing. And then we have, this is one mango, another mango as you continue. So it looks like there's a whole line of mangoes here. And then at the end, next to the fence here, there's cypress. Cypress. Then the next line behind it, you can see we have the blue gum. Then we have another line at the edge of the grevillea. Wow, this is a lot. This is actually a lot. That's a main road there. That's why you can hear the sound of vehicles passing. So this farmer still has more space, as you can see, a lot of space. The only problem is at the edge there, definitely because of the blue gum and the cypress, she may not be able to grow a lot. But also it depends on the plant she has, because of the many fruits and the many trees. I probably think that this is going to be the fruit garden, their Garden of Eden. And the vegetables are just being planted now because there's space. But otherwise, this looks like this is going to be their lawn. In the last farm of my mom, there was some pineapple. I can see one pineapple here. But right there, I can just see mangoes, and of course bananas. And then there's this big mango tree. Just see the way many flowers. This one, I assure you, if they're the same ones I saw in my mom's farm, she has a good harvest. So let's continue with the journey of our farmer's farm. She's actually called Pam. She doesn't want to be in the video, but thank you so much, Pam, for allowing me to review your garden. You're doing very well. There's this tank, 3,500 liters, water roof catchment. They have harvested a lot of rain, so just in case, but this is Western. Usually there's a lot of rain, but just in case they have enough water. And this is a very nice passion fruit. It is a very sweet one. I really love it. It's usually yellow when it is ripe. So this is really nice. The mango tree, look at that. This is an old mango tree. It's so big. And they keep cutting and cutting it. We even made a shade under here. Yeah, this shows how old it is. It's very nice. And then there are these where the cows normally eat from. Then there is dung that they have put separate here, which they will use for planting also. But as you can see, they have a lot of trees. These are blue gums. Again, when they're big enough, this is a good plan. This is where I have started the video, on this bench, on this table. Thank you so much, Pam, for allowing me to do this review. And you can see those flowers, very beautiful flowers in the compound. Very nice flowers. That's the bottle brush. This is the grevillea as well as that one. And look at those flowers that have been caged. I think they're not big enough. The animals cannot destroy them. They can be removed. But that's really nice. So this is a continuation of our Palm's garden. You can see it has pumpkins, African nightshade, these amaranthus. We still have the spider plant. And what are these? There are small things here. They look like pumpkin, but what are these? She doesn't want to be in the video, so I have left her at home. I don't know what these are, guys. What are these? They look like pumpkin, but they are so small. Could this be pumpkin? Not so sure, but let's see. So she has transplanted some of the spinach. Wow, I'm just stepping inside, but you can see she has just transplanted them. But in between we have cowpeas, we also have amaranth, we have African nightshade. Actually, it looks like those are the main vegetables that we have here in Western. And then, of course, the kales, which we saw on the other side, she has already transplanted them. So this looks like an older garden where she has been removing the vegetables to be able to sell. Okay, so there's more space here. Nothing has been grown here. But let's look here what has been grown here. These are also kales. This is kale that need to be transplanted. So there's a lot of land and there's a lot of work to be done. But because she has decided to do vegetable sell, this is really nice. So this is her maize, and as you can see, it has dried up. It has dried up faster than most of the other people in the countryside in western part of Kenya. Looks like she planted earlier, because most people plant in April, end of March, April, and then they should be dried in around October. But this is now which month? We are in August, early August. So this is really nice. She has really done well. There is more that has been planted here. Look at this, and that's something that we can learn. Look at the way these sweet potatoes have been planted. Just look at them, the whole line all the way to the end there. Then we have some sugarcane here, and look at the bananas. Just look at the bananas. They're doing so well. Maybe I should move just slightly ahead there. Yeah, so just look at this. There is maize here. Dry maize. This can now be harvested, further dried, packaged, and we can eat our famous ugali. Then we have beans. Look at these beans. You know, I love people in the countryside. Just see. There is no room for breathing. It's just intercropping, but you move them from one place to another. So this is cassava. I can see it has fallen, meaning that they have over-harvested it. So it needs just to be planted again. Then you can see also tomatoes here are doing really well. But for me, it is the beans. We are in the month of August. Ideally, in September is when people grow beans the second season. She already harvested from here and now has planted again. So even in the sugarcane, because this is a young sugarcane, she has already put the beans inside, and she will definitely harvest. Look at that. Some kale here. You know, it's a matter of being smart, taking opportunity where you find it. So this is a stretch up to the end there. But this farmer has done really well, because if you go to most homes, sugarcane has taken over the farmland. Whereas there is a law that says that food garden should be apportioned a certain section, but most farmers just put maize and sugarcane, leaving very little for food, and that is a challenge. Food security is very important. Just not concentrating on crops alone, cash crops alone, but we also need to grow what we eat. This big one is 400 shillings. Where? Yeah, I think we need to look for a different market, because in the countryside food is very cheap. This goes for 400 shillings in the countryside. Can you see how big it is? But once it reaches the town, one banana costs between 10 shillings and 15 shillings. So ideally this should go for around 1,500 Kenya shillings in the city. Wow. So there's that one that is just starting. Then there's this one that is almost there. Let me show you. You can see that this one is not for ripening, it's for cooking. Then in between is the sugarcane. Sugarcane. This is a sugar belt. So there's sugarcane even in the banana plantation. But the beauty is this farmer is not forgetting crops, food crops. Look at this. This one I think is ready to be eaten, but they have to be supported because they are so heavy. Look at that. They are being supported. They are so tall, so I really have to stretch the camera, or I need to grow taller. Very nice. So for any farmer who is keeping animals, it's important that they put napier grass. And this is what this farmer has done. This is just one. But if you see just across there, on the fence there, there are also, even on the side here, just beginning here, all the way up to the blue gum trees is napier. So she has really done well. I'm so impressed. And of course the Nandi flame, our beautiful tree, when it puts the red flowers, but when it rains and the flowers fall down, actually they smell. Yeah, but they make good fertilizer. So for composting, they do well. The leaves and those flowers. It's just the smell that puts me off. And here the chicken are just road runners mainly. You can hear that. They have so much food to eat. They just roam even in the sugarcane as long as they can get food. So this is really healthy because they eat a lot of vegetation and also some grains. They will get those worms, the ants. That's really healthy for anybody's eating, not like the ones that are, yeah, the broilers where we use a lot of chemicals. People in the countryside are doing well in terms of safety and food security. And also we have our bulldog. You can see how healthy it is. It takes care of any of those small animals that pass here and eat the chicken. You can see how healthy it is. Very nice. Oops. Look at it. Akule. So guys, can you imagine in the village, what don't we have? What exactly don't we have? Guess what? Thorn melon, so many of them, and they're actually ripe. Just look at that. So many. Wow. So I can even help the farmer in harvesting. This is how it's harvested, like this. Wow, guys, look at that. Very. Wow. So I was asking what these are. I actually did not know. I have never seen how thorn melon grows, but I eat a lot of them. So thorn melon has actually been praised for reducing blood pressure, and it has really become famous because of that. And once you plant them, they continue growing and growing. It's so nice. So these thorn melons really multiply fast. So for just one of these stems, although it's already drying up, but just see this, the farmer has not come to pick them. You know, there are so many in the farm. These reviews are so important. We have actually discussed the importance of eating thorn melon. So we also have green pepper, and they have already started fruiting. Just look at this, just one. Look at that. And she has planted them also in a row, so it is easy to harvest them. And there are quite a number here. Just look at that. So really this farmer does not need to go to the open air market or to the supermarket to buy food. She literally has everything on her farm. And more napier grass, just look at that, the whole line up to the end. You can't even see the end. All this is for the cows and the goats. So we have come to the end of our farm tour. I want to thank Pam for allowing me to view or review her farm. She has really done well. And on this channel, we talk about gardening, not just for anything, but to learn. I hope you have learned something about intercropping and ensuring you have as much food in your garden so that you don't have to go to the market. If you're a Kenyan, you know that it is very difficult now. The economy has really stretched us, and it's not easy to get money for food. So if you're food secure, then that has sorted you out. We have seen also sugarcane, we have seen maize for our cash crops. And also keeping small animals like chicken, goats, and a cow. I don't know whether to position a cow as a small animal. No, it's a big animal. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.